Yeah, then you get into student loans.
Well, that's the craziest one, right? Because you can't even get rid of those.
Right? Every other right
Every other loan. Yeah, you can go bankrupt.
You can bankrupt.
Yeah.
Except for
student loans. I know of people that are getting Social Security docked. Their Social Security money is being docked because they owe student loans. So you're at the finish line. It's the end of your life. And you owe money for loans you took out when you were 18. And now you're 65. That's a rough way to leave this life. It's a rough, and the amount of interest based on it. I was reading about this woman who took out $150,000 in student loans, and now she owes $250,000 because of all the interest and all the time.
Yeah, and how much over the course of that loan? What are you paying? Like
Right.
7 figures for sure, right?
Off of that. I mean, it's a fucking business. And it's also, for many people, something that they're not going to use for whatever occupation they choose. I mean, maybe it will help them get a job if it shows that they have a bachelor's in this or a master's in that. But there's a large amount of people out there that are out there working in a field that is not even their field of study in college. So they have this student loan that didn't even apply to what they wound up doing for a living, and then they have to pay it off forever. And it's subsidized by the government. So it's an extraordinarily expensive endeavor. And you're making this choice when you're 18. You don't know what the fuck you're doing.
No.
You have zero idea. It's the most vulnerable time in your life before your frontal lobe forms. You're not even 25 years old, and you're making these life decisions that will affect you forever.
But it's not pushed. It's shame. You're shamed almost if you don't go to college, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's never pushed like, hey, go learn a technical skill.
Right.
Where you can do a year of apprenticeship or college or study and then go make 6 figures in a job.
One of the biggest times in my life where I felt like a loser was right out of high school because I took a year off. And I remember just telling people that I was going to take a year off. And they're like,
how could you?
So this is Boston, too, which is very hardcore blue-collar workers and educated people that work hard. Like, everybody works hard in Boston. It's like, it's cold as fuck in the winter, and you got to work. Like, everybody works. And so me taking a year off was like, oh, man, you're ruining your fucking life. Joe's going to be a loser. So I really only went to college so that people didn't think I was a loser. That's true.
And what'd you study?
Well, I went to UMass Boston, and it was one of those deals where you didn't have to have your SATs because it was like a continuing education program. So I just started taking courses there, and I did it for 3 years, and then I was like, what am I doing? And then I quit.
Yeah. Nice. Worked out.
It did, but it didn't have to. But I mean, nothing I studied was interesting to me. I mean, in terms of something to do for a living. I thought, what am I going to do? I just couldn't figure out anything that was like a traditional job that seemed even remotely appealing. Everything looked like death. It just looked like the death of fun, the death of hopes and dreams. It was just...
But also you're 18, 19, and 20.
Yeah. I was so full of energy, too, and I just wanted to go do stuff.
Yeah.
I just did the last thing I want to do is sit in some fucking classroom and listen to some nonsense and memorize it.
That's what I like about, friends in Australia or Europe. Most of those kids, they finish school and then they take a year, right? They save up their money and then they take a year of like traveling, going to different cultures, areas, come to the States, different parts of Europe, Asia, whatever, and like go to different cultures.
Think about things.
Yeah.
Find out what's attractive to you.
Yeah, what they're into.